Hi guys, this is your favorite rubber duck on the internet. Today we are going to take a look at this problem, smallest index with digit sum equal to index. We are given an integer array nums, and we have to return the smallest index I such that the sum of the digits of nums of I is equal to I. If no such index exists, we have to return -1. Let's take a quick look at the examples in order to understand the problem even better. Here we have an array of three numbers. And for the second index, because it's zero based, the sum of the digits of number 2 is equal to 2, which is the same as the index of that element. So in this case, we have to return 2. The same thing applies for this vector because here we have the first index with the sum of 1. Therefore, we should return 1. But in this case, we can find an index that has a number whose digit sum correspond to its index. So in this case, we should return a -1. Okay, so the problem is pretty straightforward and also the solution, because in this case, we are going to iterate over each element of nums. We are going to need the current index. So we're going to create a for loop here. And because of the fact that this vector here is passed as a reference, any modification that will be made on it will be visible outside. So in this case, we need to create a copy in order not to affect and not to um, corrupt the values on this vector. So we're going to create the copy of the current element. So we're going to store it inside a local variable inside E. And also we are going to need the sum of the current element. Okay, so we're going to create a while loop here. So while e is different than 0, sum is going to be equal the current sum, or sum plus and equal, and the current digit, which is e modulo 10, or mod. And at the end, we're going to get rid of that digit. So we're going to divide e by 10. And in this case, if the current sum is going to be equal with I, it means that this condition is satisfied. So we're going to return the index. If no number satisfies this condition, we're going to return a -1. And let's see if the examples work. Yes, they are fine. And let's submit it. Let's submit this in order to see the result. It got accepted. Okay, so the time complexity for this problem will be obviously O of n. So it's going to be a linear complexity, even though we have this while, because the numbers are up to 1000. So we only have 4 iterations here at max. Therefore, we're just going to take in consideration this for loop, which is which has the same number of iterations as the number of elements in nums. Okay, so the time complexity would be linear O of n. And also, we need to discuss a little bit about the memory complexity, or the space complexity, to be more specific. And the space complexity will be O of n because we're not using any extra space here. We only use 2 local variables, but they are considered of O of 1. So that would be for this video. Tell me if you had, or if you have, any problem solving these tasks, and see you guys next time. Bye.